Are you feeling a trading discomfort? Good. And these two guys think that's good too. Stay tuned. Hey traders, warm welcome to you. All right, so recently I had the pleasure of speaking to Mr. Tom Hougaard, author of Best Loser Wins, and Mr. Steve Ward, author of Bulletproof Trade. I bring that up is that, by the way, I highly recommend this book, both great reads, both well worth getting. Best Loser Wins, Tom Hougaard, this is Bulletproof Trader. Now Tom Hougaard is a trader, he actually trades, and Steve is a high performance coach who works with banks, institutions, hedge funds, etc. So they're coming from different places. One's kind of in the trenches and stuff, the other's working with people who are in the trenches and is focusing purely on that peak performance nature. And they both said a very similar thing. They both said in different ways that you have to be uncomfortable. Something that Steve Ward said in Bulletproof Trader, actually on this podcast, was, hey, you've got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Well, what does that mean? Well, trading is an art form that creates a lot of discomfort. We're talking about fear and anxiety and the kind of feelings of these. You've got to embrace them and say, hey, listen, this is the game I'm playing. I am feeling uncomfortable in trading. I'm going to feel uncomfortable. I've got to get used to it. And Tom, from a kind of trader's perspective, was talking a lot about adding to winners and being aggressive on his biggest trades. And he's a high stakes trader, so he gets very aggressive. And one of the things he's saying is, hey, you know what? It's uncomfortable to add to a position. It's uncomfortable to hold it. It's uncomfortable to add more, to size up, to keep going, to push. But one thing that he'll do is put himself into that discomfort so that he can almost make himself desensitized to it, almost to a point where, yes, I feel discomfort, but I know that I have to do this because this is what is going to move me forward. And so when you've got two interesting guys talking about this and saying you've got to be uncomfortable, you got to listen, because actually if you look at all the trading books, and I've said it on here before, guys, I understand this, I recognize this, we need to feel discomfort, and our brain has to be wired in a way that says, I'm feeling discomfort, good. Another author, I haven't got his book here, I've talked about it before, Jocko Willink, Extreme Ownership. He says, something goes wrong, you're feeling bad, good. If your foot's hurting, good. Your machine gun's jammed, good. It's like, you see this as a growth opportunity. So whilst it's a slightly different angle of attack, he was a Navy SEAL, by the way, the similarities with trading are huge, right? We have to recognize the discomfort, feel the discomfort, and acknowledge that we're doing what we need to do to improve. Acknowledge it's hard to hold on to a position. It's hard to add to a trade. It's hard to stick to the rule that says, hey, I'm only trading this amount today, and I don't want to get seduced by volatility elsewhere. I need to back off the impulse. You're doing the hard stuff that's uncomfortable at the moment, but is going to bring the rewards later on. And feeling that and recognizing when you're in that moment and saying, hey, the crowd is doing the opposite to this. And this is something that Tom talks about in his book, Best Loser Wins, definitely check it out. The crowd is doing something, I want to do the opposite, because the crowd is losing. The crowd isn't making it work for them. But if I go into a point where I'm uncomfortable, I'm doing what human nature is fighting against, I know that that's the opposite of what the crowd is feeling, so I'm going to get better results. And okay, I've oversimplified it and from how Tom describes it, but ultimately that's the way that you need to look at trading is, hey, I need to get uncomfortable. Want to trade a bit more size? You've got to feel uncomfortable with the size. Otherwise, you're going to plateau. I've been trading this size forever. I've not really increased it. You've got to be uncomfortable. Trade a bit more size. Add to your positions. This is the discomfort. Trading and holding a position. For some people, that's just uncomfortable. Cutting a loser. For some traders, that's really painful. You've got to just go, cut it, move on. Do I feel uncomfortable? Yeah. Does it hurt? Yeah. Move on. Next, forget about it. Recalibrate the mind. Let the energy dissipate, the emotion dissipate, and then get back into it. So it's understanding that discomfort is the path to growth in trading. It absolutely is. And the more uncomfortable you can feel and be at peace with it and just sit there and marinate in that discomfort and say, hey, you know what? Bring it. I don't feel comfortable with this. I would much rather take those profits. I would much rather not risk that unrealized P&L and grab that money there, because that's money I can grab and I feel good about it. but I'm going to sit here and discomfort because my target is up there and I'm not closing it until I've hit my target or my stop loss gets triggered, as an example. And so I'm just going to sit and I'm going to bathe in that discomfortable. As Steve says, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. If you can master that, you are well on your way to improving and setting yourself apart from the crowd. And we know that it doesn't work for the crowd. We know that if you can step out and do things that other people, the opposite of what the majority is doing, which is seeking comfort, grabbing those quick profits and holding on to those losers, not cutting losers when they should, not really stretching themselves in terms of size, not really doing the hard work and the uncomfortable work outside of hours, the homework, all that type of stuff. If you're putting in that type of work and feeling uncomfortable, feeling discomfort, acknowledging it, recognizing it, this doesn't feel comfortable for me at all. This doesn't feel comfortable for me at all. I must be doing something right. Take care, keep your risk managed. I'll see you in the next one. Check out these books, guys. Bye-bye.